Make a date with Reverend Dr. Ebenezer Markwei at 6 a.m. from Monday to Saturday on Graphic Online via Facebook and YouTube as he expounds on matters of faith. Graphic Online, truth and accuracy every day.
This is Reverend Dr. Ebenezer Markwei of Living Streams International. Once again, live on Graphic Online, Matters of Faith. I like to caption what I'm going to say today as 3 against 1. 1, 2, 3 against 1. And it's very, very interesting. Now, in the book of Matthew, chapter 7, verse 1 to 3, and in the book of John, chapter 8, verse 1 to 11, there is a story of a woman who was caught in adultery. And the Bible said they brought this woman to Jesus. And then when they brought it to Jesus, they said, now this woman has been caught in adultery. According to the law of Moses, she needed to be stoned. What say you? And obviously they brought that thing to Jesus because they wanted to see what he was going to think. They wanted to find out exactly what. So can you imagine that woman standing in the midst of a multitude? Everybody crying prostitutes. Everybody crying adulteress. And then she's standing alone. And her whole life, or the future, her whole future was lying in the hands of what Jesus would say. Now Jesus must confirm the law of Moses that says stone her. But then the Bible said Jesus did something. He just bowed down his head and began to write on the floor. And then he began to say, let he who is without sin be the first person to cast a stone against this woman. Let he who is without sin be the first to cast a stone against this woman. And then he started writing on the sand, in the sand. He was writing in the sand. And you know what? After a while, everybody left. And Jesus raised his head, asked the woman, where are your accusers? And then the woman said, they are all gone. And then Jesus made a statement. He said, neither do I condemn you. Go and sin no more. Powerful story. And the principle is this. Those who brought the accusation, yes, the woman had done something. Yes, she had been caught. That means it was open. It wasn't a secret. You know, red-handed, we'll say, caught with your hands in the pie, or caught red-handed. This one, or caught with your finger in the pudding. There's no way the woman could exonerate herself and say. But I have a few questions and I have a few principles. Number one, adultery takes two. Adultery takes two. So where's the partner? And adultery means relationship outside covenant. So number one, either she was married, or two, the man that she was having an affair with was also married. So it takes two to tango. So where was the other person? Sometimes accusation can be so lopsided that objectivity vanishes. Accusation can be so lopsided. You see, when you're feasting at the table of accusation, when accusation makes you oblivious to all the facts, it takes two people for an adulterous act to be committed. Where's the other one? That's the question I asked. So why would you stone her and leave the other person unpunished? Accusation goes beyond reason. Two people, so bring the two of them and let there be fairness. Accusation sometimes rules out fairness, rules out justice. Accusation rules out justice. And Jesus said something. Let he who is without sin be the first person to cast the stone. And there was nobody. Can I tell you something? And I said 3 against 1. All those people who had picked up stones to throw against this woman all had skeletons in their cupboards. There was something that they knew. All of them had skeletons in their cupboards. All of them had hidden sins. All of them had things that would bring them to shame. And yet they were the same people holding stones of judgment against other people. Normally when I see somebody throwing stones of accusation heavily, it's an indication of the person not having a hidden sin in that person, or skeletons in that person's cupboard, and that person has not found grace to be able to deal with it. I repeat, when I see somebody holding stones, throwing stones of accusation, it could also mean that person have hidden skeletons in their cupboard, and they have not found commensurate grace to deal with the skeletons in their cupboard. And yet, so that in punishing the person or punishing somebody else, they are projecting. It is projection. And Jesus said, "Let's see who is without stone." So guess what? When you point your finger of accusation against somebody, can I tell you something very interesting? 3 fingers are pointing at you. So one finger is pointing at others. Remember, this is also pointing at you. This is pointing at you. And that is also pointing at you. So one finger at somebody else, 3 fingers against you. Look, learn to extend grace to people. Learn not to be judgmental. Learn not to be condemnatory. Because it could also be an indication of something in your life that you've not found grace to deal with. 3 against 1. Where are your accusers? And when the woman said, "Lord, I have none," look at what Jesus said. This is God talking. "Neither do I condemn you. Go and sin no more." Give people a second chance. Give people a second chance. Extend grace to people. Remember, you are not perfect. And if people are going to weigh your imperfections against you, you by all means be found wanting. Let somebody go. Let somebody go free. Drop the charges. Drop the stones. They won't help. Because the stones are indicators of the big rocks in your cupboard. Because Jesus said, "Take the log out of your eye before you remove the speck from somebody's eye." Yours is a log, big timber. That person's is just a speck. Find grace to deal with yours. Then you extend grace to somebody else. God bless you. See you next time.